What's up, guys? So today we're taking a look at Liberty going into the next college football season. Taking a look at the schedule from last year. We're going to take a look at their schedule last year, tell you how they did last year, and then we're going to predict the schedule for it. And then we're going to predict the schedule this season, and we'll tell you the competition standings from last year. Alright, so Liberty coming off. Liberty went 8, so yeah, guys, Liberty went 8-4 last season and finished off 5-3 in the conference record. But they started off 5-0, which means they beat Campbell 41-24. That put that at 1-0 overall and 0-0 in the conference record. And then they beat New Mexico State 30-24. That put them at 2-0 in the overall record and 1-0 in the conference record. And then next one, they beat UTEP 28-10. That gave them put them at 3-0 overall and 2-0 in the conference. And then next they beat East Carolina, 35-24. That gave them a 4-0 overall record and a 2-0 conference record. They beat FIU 31-24 in overtime. That put them at a 5-0 overall record and a 3-0 conference record. And then next game they lost to Kennesaw State 27-24. That put them with an overall record of 5-1 and a conference record of 3-1. And then they lost to Jacksonville State 31-21. That gave them a 5-2 overall record and a 3-2 conference record. And then next game they beat Middle Tennessee 37-7. That gave them a 6-2 overall record and a 4-2 conference record. And then they beat UMass 35-34 in overtime. That put them at a 7-2 overall record and a 4-2 conference record. And then next they beat Western Kentucky 38-21. That gave them an 8-2 overall record and a 5-2 conference record. And then the last game of the regular season, they lost to Sam Houston 20-18. That gave them an 8-3 overall record and a 5-3 conference record. And then they went to the Bahamas. Bolin Caden Salter did not play in that because he left. And they lost in that 26-7. That gave them an 0 to finish off 8-4 overall record and 5-3 in the conference record. The game against App State was canceled due to the hurricane, and it flooded at Boone, North Carolina. And in 2023, they went 13-1 overall and 8-0 in the conference record. Only losing their bowl game in 2023, 45-6 to Oregon. And in 2022, they went 8-5 overall and 0-0 conference record. They went in the conference then. And in 2021, they went 8-5 overall and 0-0 the conference record. They met, and again, they didn't have a conference in 2021 either. And Liberty did lose their quarterback, Kaden Salter. I told you guys that already. And they lost a bunch of other good players. They lost Quentin Cooley, I think. And they lost Billy Lucas and Bentley Handsaw. And I think Tayon Sibley's. And they lost Tyson Mobley, I think. But I think Tayon Sibley's good and he's still there. And I think Ryan Berger's still there too. So let's talk about their schedule this year. So let's get into talking about the 2025 schedule. And the first game of the season will be at home against Maine. This should be a very easy win for this Liberty team. Maine isn't a great team, and this will be the cupcake game for Liberty on the schedule. This is their FCS game on the season to make their schedule even more easier than it already was. And this will be a good warm-up game for Liberty football on the season. So have the movement to win to start the season. And there's nothing much to say about this game. The next game for Liberty football will be on the road against Jacksonville State. And this would be a good test early on in the season for Liberty. Jacksonville State is a good team. They went to the Conference USA Championship last year and destroyed Western Kentucky, and at 52-12, but they lost to them in the last game of the regular season, 19-17. Liberty lost to Jacksonville State last year, 31-21, but in 2023 they beat them 31-13. I do have Liberty beating Jacksonville State, and I have the movement to 2-0 on the season. The next game for Liberty football will be on the road against Bowling Green. Bowling Green went 7-6 last season. They were not best, but they were okay. They went to a bowl game, but they lost in their bowl game last year. I think Liberty will win this game, and I have the movement to 3-0 on the season. The next game for Liberty football will be at home against James Madison. And if you're gonna try to look for a loss on this Liberty schedule, I definitely 100%, 1000% sure that this game right here is the most likely lost. And I do like Liberty Flames too, and you guys that are watching this video that like the Liberty Flames, you guys, I'm so sorry, but I am giving you a loss here to James Madison. So I have Liberty moving on to 3-1 with the season. The next game for Liberty football will be on the road against Old Dominion. Last year, Old Dominion went 5-7, and that just shows how bad they did. And the year before, they went 6-7, and the year before they went 3-9, and the year before they went, the year before they went 5-7, and the year before they went 6-7. So Old Dominion hasn't had pretty great seasons, and I think Liberty will win this game, and I have the movement to 4-1 on this season. Following their game against Liberty will have their first bye week after their game against Old Dominion. And then following their bye week, they will go on the road to play UTEP. And UTEP isn't a good team. UTEP went 3-9 last season, and they went 3-9 in 2023. And they went 5-7 in 2022. And I think Liberty will win this game against UTEP. And I'm the movement to 5-1 on the season. The next game for Liberty football will be at home against New Mexico State. New Mexico State went 3-9 last season, but they went 10-5 the year before, and they went 7-6 the year before. So New Mexico State was pretty bad last season. I think Liberty will win this game, and I will move it to 6-1 on the season. Following that game against New Mexico State, Liberty will have their second bye week of the season. But after their bye week, they will play at home against Delaware. And Delaware will be playing their first season at the FBS level. Delaware was a bad team last season. I don't know how Delaware did last season, but they are new to the conference and to the FBS this year, and I think Liberty will win this game, and I have the movement to 7-1 on this season. The next game for Liberty football will be at home against Missouri State. Missouri State was in the FBS. Missouri State will be playing their first season at the FCS level and in the Conference USA. Missouri State, I don't know how Missouri State did last season, but I think Liberty will win this game. And I have the movement to 8-1 on the season. The next game for Liberty football will be on the road against FIU. FIU went 4-8 last season, and they went 4-8 the year before. And I think they went 4-8 the year before too. I think Liberty will win this game, and I have the movement to 9-1 on the season. The next game for Liberty football will be on the road against Louisiana Tech. Last season, Louisiana Tech went 5-8 last year. And I do think Liberty will win this game, and I have the movement to 10-1 on this season. The next game for Liberty football will be at home against Kennesaw State. Last season, Kennesaw State went 2-10 last season. They only upset Liberty 27-24, and they beat FIU 27-26. Hi.
How's it going?
Good. I think Liberty will win this game, and I have Liberty finishing the season with an 11-1 overall record and a 7 and an 8-1 conference record. I mean an 8-0 conference record.
You have a good day?
Yeah.
School good?